Could I ask like 4 questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Kapatidenyo!
Hi guys, I'm here with the store owner Andrew. And we would just like to ask some questions with regards to this sneaker journey. So first question is, how did your brand start? How is Holy Ground Sneaker Shop or Sneak Peek as a person and as a brand?
Started reselling sneakers got into sneakers maybe about 12 years ago. So been in it for a little while now. Never really resold for profit, as most people didn't really do that back then. And it wasn't until maybe like 2016 that I started getting more into reselling stuff. Maybe 2015, right when the Yeezy 350s first came out. Because that was the first time I was like, oh, like people are paying a lot of money for stuff. Because before then it was just Jordan Retros, stuff like that, which I still resold, but it was more like I would wear them, get tired of them, sell them, be like, okay, cool, I made a few bucks here and there. But it was never like, oh, I got to try and find all the deals and steals to try and flip and make so much money off of it. But yeah, so once the Yeezy started coming out and people were hopping on Adidas a lot, I did a lot of that stuff, Foot Locker, raffles, all that kind of good stuff. But I never had like a brand name. We're on Facebook groups and stuff like that. So other than that, like just kind of kept doing it on the side. I worked at a church. That was my main job. I was a pastor at a church for 7 years. And then the pandemic hit. So I was like, hey, let me try and resell sneakers with all the knowledge that I know and just put it all forward, trying to grab as many deals as I could. Started doing that. You know, God blessed me with finding a lot of good deals, making a lot of money from it. So kind of grew that into Holy Ground. We named specifically Holy Ground because it's a play on sneakers, so people understand like, oh, hey, like there's like Holy Grail. A lot of people talk about Holy Grails, but we wanted Holy Ground because we wanted people to understand like whether you come in, no matter who you are, we just want you to be in the presence of God, which to us just means to be loved by everyone here.
That's how Holy Grand started. How is Sneak Peek as a person and as a brand?
I'm half Korean, half Mexican, so a lot of people think I'm Filipino or I've gotten Vietnamese or Chinese. Yeah, so it is what it is. Obviously, I love sneakers. I love basketball. I love skateboarding. I like being active. If you guys watch my videos, I'm pretty chill of a person. I'm not really like super energetic or super crazy, but that's kind of just how I am 24/7. So, and I love coffee and boba and a bunch of sweet stuff. I have a sweet tooth for sure.
What you see is what you get, basically.
Yeah. I don't really try and be someone different. I'm pretty comfortable with who I am, and I think that's kind of what helps me take the leaps that I need to, like for the business too. Like I think if I wasn't comfortable with who I am and if I worried about what everyone else thought about me, I don't even know if I would have opened the shop because probably I had a lot of people telling me like, oh, you shouldn't do it. It's probably not the best investment, or a lot of people still don't see sneakers as like a valuable market. I think it's important for you to figure out who you are as a person and be okay with that.
So which started? You selling sneakers or you reviewing sneakers on YouTube?
My very first video was a beater box from Soul Supremacy. At the time, Untitled Hawaii was probably the best guy to do it. He was the one who really took a hold of beater boxes. Like there are other people who do beater boxes, but I think he was the one who kind of made it into like a nice quality video, did all that stuff, and he grew over the years. And so I felt like that was a good way to introduce myself to YouTube. So I always wanted to do YouTube, but I just never had the time to. But yeah, so I did sneaker reviews and mystery boxes. So those were the first two things I started. So it's kind of both, you know.
Yeah. How much did YouTube and other social media contributed to your brand?
We're kind of in a random plaza. We're not in a mall or in a super busy plaza where, you know, a lot of foot traffic. Like people who come here specifically come here for the shop. And I think that's only because we market ourselves on YouTube and on Instagram. So I think it's a huge thing, because if I just opened up the shop and nobody really knew who I was, even when I was doing online selling, local meetups, I still had an Instagram so people would follow me and see what I had. And then once I announced I was opening up shop, I had a lot of the local people who I did deals with come and support, they're like, oh, I remember when we met up here, did this. And so I think having social media is like super important, especially for the sneaker world.
It's like free advertisement, and like it's giving you reach to all the generations per se.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool because of YouTube, I think that's why I get a lot of people who like that are out of state too. Like we ship anywhere in the U.S. and we get people who buy from New York, Michigan, Chicago,
Nice.
just Florida, like random places. And so it's really cool to see that, you know, YouTube helps broaden your reach rather than just only the people who are local to you.
Yeah. First pair you ever sold?
First pair I ever sold. Yeah, that's an interesting story. I resold my brother's Jordan 1 Royals from 2001 when I was in high school. They were sitting in the closet collecting dust, and the midsoles were golden yellow. And my friend was like, oh, like you have these? I was like, yeah. He's like, you know what? I could clean them up for you, unyellow them, and we could try and sell them. So I sold my brother's shoes for like $200 or something like that. Yeah.
Nice story behind it. Last, who influenced you? Like sneaker reselling and YouTube.
Honestly, like 2J's from Urban Necessities. I think that's the reason why I opened up the store a little bit, was his model. Why try and flip a shoe for $300 profit when you can flip a shoe really fast for like $40 profit? But if you flip 100 shoes at that versus selling only a few pairs that are over market. Plus I also like, I think round 2 in the beginning, like before they kind of expanded to everything, like they were very local, very about the community, like about sneakers. I mean, I feel like they still are, but you know, you just when you get bigger, it's hard to control all that stuff.
True.
But yeah, those 2 guys were probably a bigger influence. Yeah.
Okay, that's it, Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for accommodating and answering this question.
Yeah, of course, man.
Thank you. Holy Ground sneak peek.
What's poppin', everyone? My name is Danny, also known as Street by Danny. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about sneakers and streetwear. I want to say thank you to Daniel for having me here on his channel. And by the way, ang ganda ng pangalan mo. So now I'll be answering some questions that Daniel sent me. First question is, how did your brand start? So Street by Danny started nung pandemic lang. Actually, before the pandemic, I was already planning to make a YouTube channel, pero I just didn't have time because of work and other stuff. So nung nag-start yung pandemic, I had more free time. Kaya I had the chance to start my YouTube channel na talaga finally. Next question is, how is Street by Danny as a person and as a brand? Actually, both of them are the same because I like showing my personality through my brand. I am a happy person and I always think positive and good vibes lang ang gusto ko. So yun ang pinapakita ko sa Street by Danny. And I'm also approachable. So if you guys have any questions about sneakers and streetwear, you can just message me anytime. Kahit gabi pa yan, gising pa ako niyan. So there. Next question is, gaano kalaki ang naiambag ng YouTube sa brand mo? Actually guys, YouTube is my main platform for Street by Danny. So super big help siya. And I really love YouTube because I get to share and educate people visually with the things that I want to share with them, especially sneakers and streetwear. So there. Next question is, first video uploaded. The first video that I uploaded on my channel was my streetwear quarantine haul. Kasi nung nag-start yung pandemic, that was one of my coping mechanisms nung time na yun. I think hindi naman ako, I'm sure most of us, yun yung naging parang go-to natin nung time na yun. So I bought a lot of sneakers and some streetwear. So I did a haul and yun yung first video ko on my channel. So next is, who influenced you? I am actually heavily influenced by the female sneakerheads on YouTube. To name a few, Monsieur Banana, Nazja, Sneakerhead Clara, and Miss Chrissy. I am super inspired by them and it made me gain more confidence to start a channel as well and to represent the female sneakerheads here in the Philippines. So there, thank you again Daniel for having me on your channel. I hope you guys can check out my YouTube channel, Street by Danny, and also follow me on my socials at Street by Danny on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. See ya!
Hello Daniel, magandang araw. Maraming salamat at ako'y yung naimbitahan dito sa iyong YouTube channel. Para sa unang katanungan, paano nagsimula ang Paeng Paeng brand? Masasabi kong hindi ito brand, bagkus ay parang identity o pagkakakilanlan. Dahil sa tinagal-tagal ng aking paglalaro ng Magic, talaga namang sa tuwing makikita nila ako, lalo na sa mga big event, palaging storm ang aking bitbit. Kaya sa tuwing makikita nila ako na maglalaro, parang nakasanayan ko na ang paeng ay kasing kahulugan ng storm. Para sa ikalawang katanungan, gaano kalaki ang naiambag ng Facebook o ng YouTube sa iyo? Itong dalawang social media na ito, napakalaki ng naiambag kasi mas lalong bumilis ang pagpasa ng mga information sa mga kapwa manlalaro. Halimbawa na lang kung anong pinaka-updated na laman ng 75, kung ano yung mga updated na laman ng mga kalaban mo, kung paano yung mga line of plays na gagawin mo laban sa mga magiging katunggali mo. Para sa ikatlong katanungan, pinakaunang video in-upload mo. April 2020, naka-untap in pa ako noon. Wala pa akong MTGO noon. Kung MTGO ang tanong, probably nung June siguro. June of 2020. At para sa pang-apat na katanungan, sino ang mga nag-influensya sa'yo? Si Brian Cook, si Nikachu, and si Silver Bullet.
Hey guys, what up? It's the homie Ken here. I have a YouTube channel called Ken Edward, and it's a channel dedicated to all sneakers, streetwear, and just basically me as a whole. I'm also part of this group called Beyond the Hype. It's a collective of people that share the same passion when it comes to sneakers, streetwear, and just the culture in general. Alright, so first question, how did your brand start? It's always been there, like the idea of being a content creator has always been there on my mind, but I just never had the guts to do it. I made excuses like I don't have the right equipment, I don't have the time, so I just kept putting it off until the pandemic started. So yes, I'm one of those content creators where the pandemic was the one that pushed me to finally start my own brand. It was quarantine, I had all the time in the world, people were on their phones the whole time. I figured if I don't start now, then when? I still had doubts, I still questioned my ability to do it, but I figured, you know what, just start now and whatever happens, happens. It was one of the best decisions of my life and I never looked back. Okay, so second question, how is Ken Edward as a person and as a brand? I mean, a few words come to mind, but the one to stand out would probably be like genuine, authentic, honest. They kind of mean the same thing, really. They go hand in hand. As I mentioned, I do sneakers and streetwear. For example, if I do a sneaker review, I want to be authentic as I can or genuine as I can when I do that review. I don't like sugarcoating stuff. I don't like clickbaiting anybody into watching my videos. You know, for people who want to buy that sneaker, I want to be able to give them all the information they need so they can make a well-informed decision before buying something. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at it as a consumer as well. My favorite YouTubers, they're very entertaining, but they're also very informative and straight to the point, which is just how I want to be as a content creator. Okay, next question, gaano kalaki ang naiambag ng YouTube sa brand mo? Man, it really made a big impact in my life, bro, because I never would have met a lot of the people that I know now if it wasn't for YouTube. Like, for example, Beyond the Hype. I met those guys because of YouTube. At the same time, I was also able to meet a lot of store owners and just people within the culture, like, for example, Austin C of Yolo Manila. Most of my reviews, the sneakers that I review are from Yolo Manila. So I have this really good relationship with the store and the store owner because of YouTube. I owe a lot to social media in general when it comes to like my content creation. First video uploaded. This was a trip because I had to look back. I bought this Nike SB Dunk. I don't have it now. It would have been nice to keep them just as a good nostalgia shoe just because it was the first shoe that I ever reviewed. I don't have a studio or anything. It was just basically a cabinet on my shoe, a wall, and a table. That was basically it. I used my camera, like this cell phone really, to shoot it. I think if I remember, it was around June of 2020. So it's not too far back, but it's still, you know, far enough for me to reminisce about that time. I don't have a lot right now, but I would like to think that I've come a long way from 2020 June, you know? Last question, who influenced you? I think this is pretty easy to answer. I think a lot of the people here in the Philippines would say the same thing, and it is Sir Carlo Ople. I look at him as like one of the pioneers when it comes to like content creation, sneaker reviews, and other content creation in general. He has made a huge impact in the community, influencing a lot of people, including myself. When it comes to like other content creators, basically I'm a fan of the people that I work with. If you check out Beyond the Hype, all of us have our own channels. channels. So we have Street by Danny, we have Dela, we have Seth on Air, we have Rural Icarus or Carlo. I'm a fan of all their work, and if you have the time, go ahead and check out their channels, including my channel too. You'll see what I mean. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Shout out to doudble.d.kicks and especially the brother Daniel for involving me in this video. You didn't have to, but thank you for doing it nonetheless. I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless.
Yo, doudble.d.kicks. Thank you for having me, no? So, may mga katanungan lang dito na dapat nating sagutin. How did your brand start? How is Glenn Sumang TV as a person and as a brand, no? Ukay-ukay content ako nun, ukay-ukay shoes. Glenn Sumang TV na rin. Hindi ako nagpalit ng name ng aking YouTube channel. And then, yung King of Intro na aking alias sa YouTube is galing to sa fellow YouTuber na nagbansag sa akin, no? Na King of Intro. Kasi before, bago ako mag-vlog or magpakita ng mga shoes, is marami akong ginagawang mga kakaibang intro. Like yung parang may gagayahin akong celebrity or may extra effort pa ako na ginagawa bago mag-vlog. Tuwang-tuwa ako doon sa pangalan ko yun. Hanggang ngayon, ayan. Yung brand ko, yan, King of Intro, no? Yung alias ko. Yan. Gaano kalaki ang naiambag ng YouTube sa brand mo? Malaki, no? Kasi hindi naman sa pagyayabang. Dito sa Pinas, isa ako sa mga iconic na content creator ng sneakers. I mean, isa ako sa mga nauna, no? Na nagko-content ng sneakers dito sa Pinas. OG nga kung tawagin, no? Meron Paulo Tomenes na nagukay-ukay. And then, meron Carlo Ople na mga nasa hype. Ako naman yung in-between. Nag-features ng mga outlet stores. Yan, mga sales. Nagpo-promote ako ng different brands. And meron tayo ngayon sneaker shop na King of Intro Sneakers. Nasa YouTube ngayon. So, nagbebenta tayo ng mga sneakers at still deal price mga idol. Malaki na itutulong niya dahil kasi nakikita na nila na naiba-vlog natin sa YouTube. So, no question asked sa mga buyers natin if legit or hindi ba siya fake or hindi ba siya class A or replica. Wala nang nag-question sa akin ng ganun. Kasi siguro, naiisip nila, isa akong sneaker vlogger, YouTuber, OG. Parang masisira naman yung name ko kung kapag nakapagbenta tayo ng mga ganong klaseng pair, no? And then, malaki rin na itulong ng YouTube sa akin. Kasi some of biggest mga brands na especially basketball shoes like Adidas, Under Armour, Philippines, Royal Sporting House, Sportswear House, Anta Philippines, no? Ayun, yung pinopromote ko ngayon, no? Especially basketball shoes na sneakers nila na dumarating. Pinipictures natin yan. Sale nila, mga massive buy one take one sales nila, ayan. Pinipictures natin yan. And dahil sa ating YouTube channel is nakukuha natin yung tiwala ng mga biggest company dito sa Pinas, mga idol. First pair of sneakers you sold. Hindi pa kasi ako nag-YouTube noon pero mahilig na kasi ako mag-business. Derrick Rose na unang-unang edition ng mga signature basketball shoes. Although used ko na siya pero hindi siya abused, no? So yun yung mga binibenta natin, no? Who influenced you? Siyempre, si Boss Carlo Ople, no? Na-meet ko siya sa isang sneakers event, mga hype sneakers event. And nagkaroon ako ng interest. So, yun, doudble.d.kicks. Maraming salamat for having me and God bless. Kita-kits soon, Kap. Thank you. Peace out. Goodbye.